When we were working on the Daydreamer quilt, I showed you how to use Janome's quilt binder attachment, and today, as we're finishing up the Go Kitty Kitty quilt, I would like to show you how to use that binder attachment to get mitered corners on your quilt binding. So you can see that I've already started binding the quilt, and I've made it all the way down one side, and I'm almost to the corner here. So I'm going to start stitching. So if you're going, you just want to stitch all the way to the corner. So once you've stitched all the way to the corner, you'll lift your needle, raise your presser foot, and pull the quilt out from underneath the presser foot and pull yourself some really long thread tails and go ahead and snip that off. What you want those for is so that you can use them to hand stitch your mitered corner when you're all done binding. So you'll just leave those there. Then the next thing that you want to do is just to pull out a little bit of your binding and fold yourself a nice corner. Take a pin and pin it to keep that in place, and then flip it over. You'll want to do the same thing on the back, and I realize here it's harder for you to see because I'm using the same fabric for my quilt back and my binding. But the important part is that you use a pin and put it in such a way that you're able to pull it out before you start stitching again. So you just want to check and make sure you've got a really nice point, that your corner is mitered nicely, and then you're going to get things back under the presser foot. Make sure you're under the notches. Your quilt is here, and you're going under the presser foot. There we go. Okay. And so as we're rolling forward and backward, just check to make sure you can reach your pins because we're about to take those out. So once you get it lined up the way that you want to go, very carefully lower your needle into your fabric and go ahead and lower your presser foot and take out those pins. So that's why the pin placement is so very important, because you need to be able to take them out before you start sewing. Okay, and now we're ready to keep going. So you can see the binding is feeding through the binder attachment. The quilt is butted up right up against. And we've got a blanket stitch attaching them. And after you go a little ways, you might want to just turn it over and make sure, you know, that you're catching your binding on the back, that everything is rolling smoothly before you get too far. And once you see that it is, you can continue on your merry way until you come to the next corner and do the whole thing over again.